folks a few more moments to join. In about another 30 seconds or so, and then we can get started. All right, counselors and guests, the time now is 7:02 and the date is October 25th, 2021. This is a hearings meeting of the Springfield City Council. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards,
Present.
present. Counselor Letterman, absent. Counselor Gomez,
Present.
present. Counselor Allen,
Present.
present. Counselor Curran,
Present.
present. Counselor Whitfield,
Here.
here. Counselor Ramos, absent. Counselor Brown, absent. Counselor Walsh,
Present.
present. Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Fenton, absent. Counselor Hurst,
Present.
present. Counselor Williams.
Present. Thank you, counselors. At this time, can we please rise for a moment of silence followed by Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the
Of the
United
United States
Of America.
and to the republic
Republic
for which
for
is
which
Stands.
one nation,
State.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you, everyone. Madam Clerk, can you please acknowledge Counselor Davila?
Counselor Davila,
Present.
present.
Madam Clerk, can you also please recognize Counselor Fenton?
Counselor Fenton,
Present.
present.
All right. Thank you, counselors, for indulging the petitions on the agenda today. There was some urgency to these. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started. Madam Clerk, can you please call the first item?
The first item is the Eversource Bradley Road petition.
Right. Is there anyone present to speak to this? Please state your name and address.
Yeah, hi, Hector Ballas, 1956 Parker Street, Springfield.
Thank you, Hector. You have the floor.
Yeah, I have two petitions from Eversource. I know three, I think, so it's from Eversource. I think one is Bradley Row and the other one is Wilbraham Row. I don't have the agenda here, but they been working with the substation on the corner of Bradley Row and Wilbraham. They're gonna update that substation and they're gonna install 3 manholes with conduit on Wilbraham Row and 2 manholes with conduit on Bradley Row. And the other one is, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And the other one, the third one is in Main Street, Indian Orchard. I think this DPW is gonna like update, not an update, like improvement the intersection on Main Street and Pineville, I think is the name of the other street.
Yes.
And Eversource is gonna move one valve to put on the 3 valve path transformer.
All right. So what we'll do is first, before we get into the petitions, Madam Clerk, can you also please recognize Councilor Letterman?
Counselor Letterman?
Present.
Present.
All right, thank you. Councilors, with no objection, since Mr. Velez spoke to the 3 petitions at once, if there's any questions on those petitions, and then we can put those together.
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilor Allen?
Thanks, Mr. President. I just want to, I think we should mention at least, Hector, you bring Eversource things in front of us frequently, and I expect we always pass them, and we'll probably pass tonight's. But you should know, if you're not familiar, are you familiar with the problem we have with Eversource paying their bill to us for personal property tax?
No, I don't know about that one. I don't know if there's someone from Eversource here because I'm in my cell phone and I just can see just 2 person. I
Okay.
don't know how to.
Well, I don't intend to make a big deal of it tonight, but I just want you to know, and you should tell Chris Signoli as well, that we're very concerned about the fact that Eversource does not pay their bill. They're 10 years behind on their personal property tax bill. They owe us $44 million. So we aren't going to do any, I don't think we're going to do anything about it for a while. We're working on some other things, and I expect that we'll pass these petitions tonight. But since you interface with Eversource and with Chris, you should know that Eversource owes us, and let me repeat that, they owe us $44 million. And they're not being cooperative about paying it. So just something, since we're all on the same team in the city of Springfield, it's just something that you should know about. And I'm not saying it will ever force us to consider not passing one of these, because it's important to pass these things you bring before us. But it's also important that if any your interactions with Eversource, that if you're comfortable with it, that you talk to them about we're not happy with the fact that they don't pay their taxes. It's not your problem, it's not your fault or anything. But since you're interfacing with them, I just want you to know that.
Thank you. I don't have any knowledge of that one, but thank you for letting me know.
Yep.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Are there any other questions on the petitions at this time? All right, seeing none, can you please call items 1, 2, and 3 together and followed by a roll call vote?
Ms. Council President, if I may, can I acknowledge Councilor Ramos, who's in on?
Thank you.
Councilor Ramos?
Present. Thank you.
Present. So 1, 2, and 3 on the agenda are the Eversource petitions. The one is Bradley Road, the second is Wilbraham Road, and the third is Pineville Street.
And we can take those together for a roll call vote.
Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Gomez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown, absent. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams.
Yes, the petitions are approved. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is the Hoffman House 51-53 Bay Street.
Okay, councilors, this is on for second and third steps. At this time, is there anyone present, petitioner, who can speak to this? Please state your name and address for the record. Again, is there anyone present on the call to speak to this item, the Ockman House?
Counselor, this is Phil Dromey. I thought Alvin had indicated to me today that he had notified the petitioner to be here. I don't see them. But I mean, I can speak generally to it. I don't know all the details, but I believe this is just the creation of a local historic district due to the fact that this property at 5153 Bay Street, I believe, is receiving CPA funds. So as part of that funding, the CPA requires that properties who receive this funding get created, our local historic districts are created.
All right, thank you, Phil, for that. Do councilors have any remaining questions at this time for this item?
Mr. President, if I may,
Councilor Davila?
did you say we heard this before?
Yes.
So this is second reading to approve the, okay, okay. So the CPM one hasn't been approved for this?
No, I believe it has.
Oh, it has?
Yes.
Okay, because I recall seeing this somewhere. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any other questions at this time for this item? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion at this time to approve this item.
So moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Councilor Walsh and seconded by Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Absent, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams.
Yes, the ordinance is approved. At this time, councilors, can I please entertain a motion to invoke 20 to take these at one time?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Davila, seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown, absent. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams.
Yes, thank you, councilors. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is a special permit to amend the existing special permit drive-up window at 809 Boston Road.
All right, relate to me, councilors, that this item has been asked to be withdrawn. Bill, do you have any additional context for that?
No, I just emailed the person I've been dealing with for the past couple of months and asking them to provide me with an update to see if they were going to be ready to go tonight. And he responded to me just requesting that between McDonald's and the engineers that they are asking to withdraw.
So I think, councilors, the appropriate step here is to then ask for a motion for withdrawal without prejudice with a proper second, and then we can dispose of this item. So at this time, I will, Councilor Ramos.
Mr. President, so if you can remind me, what was the amended request?
It was basically to just add a second drive-through window to the location. So they currently have a special permit in place now for the one drive-through they have. As you notice, most McDonald's are adding a second drive-through order board to most of their locations. That's what they were attempting to do here. So they were looking to amend the existing special permit to add the additional drive-through window.
And so we don't have any information. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's
okay. So we don't know exactly why they're requesting to withdraw their application. I don't know if this has anything to do with the requests of the city to address some of the potential violations on the property. Do you have any knowledge as to how that relates to their request to withdraw?
well, I mean, the only thing that I know is I do know that code enforcement was out there, and as far as I know, there were no specific violations of the special permit. I think they that I'm aware of. I know there was an abutter at a couple of the meetings that had issues, and I know they had attempted to contact that abutter, but I'm not sure how successful they were. But again, I really, they just simply wrote back with an email that they were looking to withdraw.
It's unfortunate, Mr. President. I was hoping that they could be here to finalize this request, right? Because it's been going on for so long. We don't necessarily want to interfere with their potential expansion of their business. And I think that they've made an effort to clean up their property and to adhere by the current conditions of the special permit. So it's just unfortunate that they decided to withdraw. But if we do it without prejudice, I'll support it, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Are there any other comments at this time? Seeing none, I will then entertain that motion to approve the withdrawal of this item without prejudice.
Motion to withdraw without prejudice.
Second.
Councilor Edwards and seconded by Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
On the motion, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown. Absent. Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams.
Yes, the special permit has been withdrawn. Folks, before we get into the next items, I just want to let councilors know that special permits 6 through 9 we're hearing for the first time tonight. So Madam Clerk, can you please call the next?
Item number
Did we-
6 is,
Excuse me, Mr. President. Did we review number 4? Item 4?
You just did. Yeah, we
We
passed
did?
it.
Yes.
Passed.
We passed it? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted.
No worries. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
item number 6 is for a special permit for an accessory wall sign at the property known as 1500 Main Street.
All right, is there anyone present to speak this? Councilor Letterman?
Mr. President, I'm just going to recuse myself from this item as my employer has offices in the building.
All right, thank you, Councilor Letterman. Madam Clerk, can you please note that? All right, guys.
It passed. They did it already.
All right, at this time, I will ask if the petitioner, I'm sorry, someone is, can the petitioner for this item please state your name and address for the record? Is anyone present for Main Street? petition. Please state your name and address for the record. All right. It doesn't seem as if anyone is on for this particular item, so I will leave it at the discretion of the counselors on whether to continue this item. Councilor
Right. Go ahead.
Mr. President, is there anyone that can try to contact the petitioner? Maybe we can move it to the end of the meeting and see if we can get in contact with them.
Sure.
It just so as the council's aware, I did send them the analysis as well as the link, so I don't know if there's an issue getting, but I can certainly check with them in the morning. I don't know why they're not here tonight.
All right. Again, I will leave it at the discretion on whether to continue this item. If someone can make that in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Davila, seconded by Councilor Whitfield to continue this item. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to continue?
And continuing item number 6, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman. Recuse, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Absent. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams.
Yes, the item has been continued. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is item number 7, which is a special permit to operate trash hauling service facility at the property known as 1635 Page Boulevard.
All right, is there anyone present to speak to this item? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, councilors. Danny Hanoush, DDM Property Group, 425 Union Street, West Springfield, Mass.
You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. What I'm presenting this evening is going to look very familiar. This year, earlier, you granted a special permit for the same use on Bernie Ave. And since then, I purchased this property on Page Boulevard, and both the user and myself thought it was a more suitable location for the use. So we're hoping to receive the special permit for this site, and hopefully when we do that, we won't need the one that was granted on Bernie Ave. So I have a little presentation here. If I can share my screen. Try.
Should be able to, Mr. Hanoush.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing as before. I'll go through it again, might be a little redundant. 1635 Page Boulevard. It's existing industrial zoning. The use is for non-hazardous liquid waste hauling company who will be storing their vehicles inside the building overnight. It's not a transfer station, just for storing the vehicles inside overnight. So this is an old view of what the property looked like when I purchased it about 5-6 months ago. It was the old longtime home of Rivet Roofing. And doesn't look like this anymore. It's been cleaned up quite a bit. I don't know if this presentation was issued to the counselors or if they've seen it, so I don't want to read through it. If I'll kind of skim it. Trucks will be stored indoors. There's no hazardous waste at all. It's all septic and grease from companies and local businesses. There is an odor mitigation system that will be installed to mitigate any potential odors that come from their use. There is a frac tank, which is attached to the building. So in the event that they can't empty at one of the approved transfer stations, which is in Palmer. They'd empty into the frac tank, and then once a week or so, the frac tank will be emptied and brought to the transfer station. There is an emergency spill procedure, which I've attached to the plan, and an odor mitigation plan, which are included in this package. This is the odor mitigation plan. It's basically the same one as before. I'm happy to answer questions or get into details on this if you please. This is the property. There's two buildings, Building A and Building B. Building A is occupied by broadband. They do underground cabling for municipalities, and they have some offices here and some storage. The subject building is Building B. There's two garage doors in the front. Trucks would be entering, parking inside the building. There's a frac tank, which is tucked behind. And the topography of this site, this is Rocas Street, this is Page Boulevard, and this building is, the roof of the building is lower than the street level of Rocas Street. So you can barely see what's even down here. This frac tank is tied to an odor mitigation system, and the frac tank's tied to the building. So the usage of the frac tank will be done from inside of the building. This is a sample of what the frac tank might look like. These are some details on the mitigation system. This is just a certifying letter stating that Wind River and their entire company don't have any dealings with any hazardous waste. This is an emergency spill procedures. Sample of the trucks that would be stored in the building. And a little bit of details on the company.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hanush. At this time, Madam Clerk, I'll ask, have we received any testimony for those in favor of this?
We have not.
All right. And I do know, I believe it was circulated amongst councilors, a letter from the East Springfield Neighborhood Council. Thank you, Ms. Brown, for sending that around. And I will also ask, have we received any testimony in opposition of this item?
We have not.
All right, at this time, I'll turn it over to the councilor. Questions for the petitioner, Councilor Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, first of all, I just want to thank Mr. Hanush for his continued investment into the city of Springfield, and just all of the work that he has done to clean up the properties that he's purchased. Some of you may remember that he purchased a problem property on Berkshire Avenue a few years ago, a property that the previous owner had several violations, and it was just a big mess. And he purchased that property, cleaned it up, and turned it into a very good revenue generating business, and it has been a good neighbor to the Berkshire Avenue neighborhood. And he's doing exactly the same thing here with this property. It was a problem property. It was in very bad shape, and he's done everything that he could to clean it up. And the neighborhood council will tell you that they're very impressed with the work that he's done there so far. I also want to thank him for a meeting with the neighborhood council and coming up with some sensible and very reasonable conditions. It is my understanding that the proposed conditions have been agreed to, Mr. President. And so at the appropriate time, I would like to make a motion to amend and add some conditions that were agreed to by both the neighborhood council and the petitioner.
All right, thank you, Councilor Ramos. We will circle back after councilors speak. Councilor Dada.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Mr. Hanush. It's good to see you. Thank you for the presentation. You answered pretty much all my questions. I just want to be thorough. So basically the project is the same project that you were going to do over by Bernie Avenue, correct?
That's accurate.
Yeah, it's just a better, more fitting location. Okay.
Correct.
Right, good, good. And one last question. I see that within the materials you provided, there's no chemical use, no, excuse me, no hazard use whatsoever. And so I do believe that's a waterway back there. There will be no interaction between the waterways, right?
That's correct. And I did meet on site with conservation agent and explained to him everything we're doing, and he was comfortable with it.
Excellent, excellent, good, good. Well, Mr. Hunt, also like Mr. Councilor Ramos say, thank you for believing in Springfield, for keeping your business here in Springfield. And sounds like a very good town, sensible, very well thought out project. So my compliments to you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, Mr. Noosh. It sounds like you're doing everything right here. And so just to follow up with Councilor Davila, you're more comfortable with this location than the previous one, correct?
I am, yes.
Is it just because of, is it larger, or it's a better fit all
I
around?
think there's just less potential for any concerns from abutters at this
Yeah.
site and the previous site. So
Yeah, that's really,
even though there weren't any expressed up front,
right.
just
Well, that's
steering away from it going here.
That's a good way to be a good neighbor, to take that into consideration. I just have two questions. One, have you worked with this company before? Is it Wind River? Have you worked with them before?
I don't have any personal dealings with them. I have an associate that I work closely with that has done a lot of deals with them.
Okay, and it talked about jobs. How many jobs are there, and are they skilled? Are they from the neighborhood, or
Sure.
what's your
So-
impression of the job
Sure,
situation?
I did ask them that. They currently have 2 people handling the Springfield area currently, working out of the Springfield area. They're hoping to hire up to have a total of 5 people working out of the facility, so it's not huge, but they do train in-house, and they're decent paying jobs, so they try to hire locally, they said. So
Okay, well, thank you, and I plan on supporting this tonight.
appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Are there any other questions for the petitioner from council members at this time? Councilor Hurst.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Danny, I appreciate your reflection and the fact that you recognize that it might that there might be a better fit out there, certainly for this project that I don't think we have seen here in Springfield. And so the fact that you've done your due diligence and also were willing to purchase another property in another area of the city, I have full confidence that you're going to be a good neighbor. You always have, from whether it's on Bay Street, whether it's downtown, whether it's in East Springfield. So I certainly appreciate your efforts to invest in the city of Springfield and hope you continue to buy up and restore more properties here.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Are there any other questions at this time? Councilor Ramos, I will pass it back to you if you'd like to speak to those conditions at this time.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And so I received a copy of the conditions, and if you can confirm at the conclusion that I read these conditions, Mr. Noosh, if you can confirm that these are the conditions that you agreed to with the neighborhood council so that we can vote on them. And so here are I'm going to make the following conditions in the form of a motion, Mr. President, altogether.
Okay.
The first one is number 5 shall be amended to read, all trucks associated with this proposed use shall be parked inside of the building overnight. Condition number 2 shall be amended to read, this special permit is granted solely to the operator. I'm sorry. This special permit is granted solely to operate a trash hauling service facility limited to non-hazardous material in tank trucks for Wind River and or their affiliates or successors at the property known as 1635 Page Boulevard. Additional conditions that have been agreed to by the petitioner and the neighborhood council are as follows. All building doors and windows are closed when trucks are in the building, regardless of whether they are loaded or not. Additional condition, alarm system to be installed, which is capable of detecting spill inside and outside the building. Additional condition, the street number shall be clearly visible. And finally, current emergency contact information shall be posted and maintained in a visible location on the exterior of the building. Mr. Nush, if you can confirm that those are the conditions that you agreed to with the neighborhood council.
I confirm.
Thank you. So I make that in the form of a motion, Mr. President, and I will send a written copy to the clerk.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. There's a motion on the floor that's been properly seconded. Councilor Fenton on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor Ramos. I know Kathy Brown's on the call. I recall specifically with respect to the condition that Councilor Ramos read about the parking of the trucks inside. If we could just ask Kathy Brown to clarify that point if she's here. I thought that there was a change and that the neighborhood was comfortable with the outdoor parking of the vehicles, given the nature of the surrounding area and the underlying zoning. I don't know if Ms. Brown's here to confirm that or not.
Ms. Brown, please state your name and address for the record. I'll give you the floor.
Kathleen Brown, 136 Edendale Street in Springfield. Yes, we did. I will confirm that it's fine with us to park the trucks inside at night and certainly outside during the day.
I see. Okay, so Councilor Ramos's motion is correct because he's
correct
inside at night. I understand. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Fenton. There is a motion on the floor made by Councilor Fenton that's been properly seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll on adopting the recommended conditions?
On adopting the conditions to the special permit, Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Letterman,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Gomez,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Ramos,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Brown. Absent, Councilor Walsh,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Davila,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Williams.
Yes, the recommended conditions have been adopted. Is there any more questions for the petitioner at this time from the council? Right, seeing none, at this time, I will entertain a motion to continue the item.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Councilor Allen, and I will get that to Councilor Edwards for a proper second. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on continuing the item?
On continuing the item, Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Letterman,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Gomez,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Ramos,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Brown. Absent, Councilor Walsh,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Davila,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Williams.
Yes, the item has been continued. Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Brown?
Councilor Brown,
Present.
present.
Right, Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item is a special permit to operate an adult use marijuana establishment at the property known as 666 State Street.
All right, is there anyone present to speak to this item? Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Isaac Fleischer. I'm an attorney with Bacon Wilson, and I'm here on behalf of Primus LLC.
Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you. So Primus LLC is applying for a special permit to operate an adult use marijuana retailer at 666 State Street. The site is located in the Business A district. It's on one of the the allowed streets in the zoning specified in the zoning ordinance. And within the business A district, a marijuana retailer is allowed subject to a special permit from the city council. It complies with all the required setbacks. It's not within the buffer zone of a residential property, of a school, or of another marijuana retailer. The site, 666 State Street, is relatively large. It's about 25,500 square feet of land. And then located on that property is an existing building that is 3,253 square feet. Is it possible for me to share my screen so I can show pictures of the existing building?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is the street view of the existing building. It previously housed a restaurant and a hair salon. The marijuana retail establishment will be located entirely within the existing building, but pursuant to the zoning ordinance, only 2,500 square feet of the establishment will be open to the public. I'm going to show a larger view. This is an aerial of the site. This is the property in question. As you can see behind the building is a pavilion back here, which will be demolished to make room for more parking. And here you can see our site plan. I'm gonna zoom in. Sorry, I got to navigate this. Here we go. All right. Here is where vehicles will enter. They proceed to the back of the lot. And between this back lot area and parking alongside the building.
Mr. President, I'm not seeing
Sorry,
anything.
yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Isaac. Do you have the site plan is not showing?
Oh,
yeah.
Are you still seeing? I'm gonna pause the share and then restart the share and see if that does the trick.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Let's see. Are you seeing it now?
Oh,
no.
No.
Seeing the.
What are we supposed to be seeing? Because I see the parking lot and the building and the
We're
building
supposed
in
to
the
be seeing
back.
a site plan.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
Let me restart the share. How about now?
Yes.
Great. So I'm gonna zoom out just so you can see the larger. Okay, this is the larger plan, and then I'm going to zoom in so I can show you where the parking exactly is located. So we have 3 spots along the side, handicap van spot in the front, and then another 20 spots in the back. This is a pretty large expansion of the current parking, and it's accomplished by demolishing the pavilion in the back of the lot. Customers will enter and exit. You can see my cursor, right?
Yes.
Okay, so customers will enter and exit along State Street right here. And on this side is where secure deliveries that may or may not contain marijuana products will be delivered. So delivery vans will enter the same place as customers. They will loop around and then enter into a sally port here. So these are chain link gates that can be opened and closed to allow the delivery vans in and out and establish a secured area where the marijuana product can be loaded and unloaded. And deliveries would be after business hours anyways, but the chain link gates are still there for security purposes. And then they would just proceed forward to exit back onto State Street. I'm going to, tell me if I lose you. I'm switching over to our floor plan. Are you seeing the start of a floor plan?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we've got some, here's another really great visual of the site. This is the existing site right here. Everything in the back of the lot is what's being demolished, and parking will go in back there. So this is the entrance right here. This is the exit for customers. And then as you can see, the area open to the public is really just the heart of the building here. This is the sales area, displays, everything else you see on the sides of the building here and here. This is only open to employees, and it includes offices, a secure vault, bathrooms, and such. Customers will be checked upon entry, and again upon entering into the display area to verify that they are over 21 years of age. We have a complete security plan that has been reviewed by Springfield Police Department, and in addition to verification of IDs of customers, it includes closed circuit cameras within the building and on the exterior of the building. In fact, I'm going to go back here so we can see a little better. In addition to new lighting fixtures here, here, and here, security fencing around the dumpster area and around the delivery area. As I'm sure you all know, in order to have the opportunity to enter into a host community agreement with the city of Springfield, all interested applicants needed to go through a fairly lengthy RFP process. It was a competitive process in which applicants were ranked on a number of different metrics. And I'm proud to say that Primus ranked #1 in that process, and they've been invited to enter into a host community agreement. We've been working on the terms of that agreement with the law department and the procurement office. I think that we've established all the material terms of that agreement at this point, and should be signing it hopefully within the next week. At this point, I'm gonna turn it over to the principals of Primus to tell you a little bit about who they are and what they want to accomplish with Primus LLC.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Rob Kelly, 118 Thompson Street here in Springfield. So I'm a lifelong resident of the McKnight neighborhood. I've lived here for over 30 years. I've been involved as a public school teacher, stayed involved with the youth. And my main thing is basically, I wanted to enter into the industry to basically provide equitable, to be an example of an equitable resident who's able to be involved. So I am a social equity applicant and certificate holder, and I'm one of the principals involved.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Are there others? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Lamont Clement, 64 Thompson Street, Springfield, Massachusetts. I am originally from here, Springfield, Massachusetts. Went to multiple different schools, ended up finishing up here, getting multiple degrees and working in corporate America, and actually returning back to my hometown and my family business that had thrived and paid taxes here in Springfield for the past 38 years. It's been a pleasure to be back. Of course, I've been extremely involved in the community. I'm the former president of the McKnight Neighborhood Council, as well as a counselor on that same board for quite some time. I'm also on the board for the YMCA, which is really a organization that really helped me in my youth. I grew up extremely humble beginnings, and that was definitely a great organization and still is to this day. Also on the board for Baypath University as well, right in Long Meadow, very prestigious university that's doing a lot for the community here in Springfield, especially with their the women's college as well. What they're doing there is, I think, some amazing work. I am ecstatic, obviously, and I almost want to pinch myself just predicated off the fact that we were able to get first place in the city of Springfield here, where typically just the wealthy continuously, either if are in position, typically unfortunately have put individuals of color that were adversely impacted in positions where, when they get to the stage or to a close stage, they're there to kind of put a negative spin on something that they would have, and then put them in position where they would lose. I unfortunately watched that over and over again, and I'm glad that type of thing isn't happening anymore in Springfield. And it's just been incredible with the growth, and for us to really be able to get first place. I'm ecstatic, and again, do a lot here for the community. We've been blessed to build a business here and really help our community throughout, and are ecstatic about what we have already done. But I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to do with a business of this magnitude right in the community that we grew up in. Obviously, I lived went to Homer Street School right around the corner. Also went to Balliet. I also went to New North. I also went to Van Sickle. I also went to Kennedy, and I also went to Cathedral High School. So I've had a pretty well-rounded journey throughout Springfield. And I'm really just looking forward to, the folks that grew up in the same way that I did, able to really be employed through us and given some hope. And I'm just, I'm ecstatic. I can't speak too much about it, enough about it to be quite honest with you guys. And a lot of you guys do know me, and you know where my heart lies. And I'm just, ecstatic to be here, and hoping and praying that this goes through without any malicious attacks or any ill intent on just people that are just trying to do some great things for the community, like a gentleman like Mr. Kelly, that every day he's so humble, he won't tell you, but every day this gentleman wakes up at 4 a.m. and brings children, Springfield's children, to the gym to help them to actually enhance their skills, the ones that are committed. And I'm proud to say a few of them have recently been selected to go into prep school and are looking for incredible Division I free college experience. And, I just want to salute Rob for what he's doing, what he's done. And I'm ecstatic that I'm in partnership with him. So with that being said, I'm going to just leave it there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kelly, and thank you, Mr. Clemens. At this time, Madam Clerk, I will ask, have we received any testimony for those in favor of the special permit?
We have not.
Right, and I will ask, have we received any testimony for those in opposition?
No, we have not.
And with that, I will turn it over to the council at this time. Councilor Ramos.
Mr. President, thank you.
If I may, Mr. President, I don't know if the clerk is aware, but there were 2 neighborhood councils that actually did have letters of support.
Oh, thank you, Councilor Brown, for letting me know that. Madam Clerk, do you have that on the record?
I do not. If Councilor Brown could share that with me via email.
Maybe I can have the petitioner actually get it, but I know the Bay Area neighborhood and the McKnight neighborhood were on board.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry, I have to get it to Councilor Ramos, but thank you for that context, Councilor Brown. Councilor Ramos, please.
Mr. President, thank you. I will yield to the ward councilor first, and I'll speak after him if that's okay.
I think that was what he had to say, Councilor Ramos.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I just want to say
No,
Congratulations.
it wasn't what I had to say, Mr.
Oh, I'm
President.
sorry. I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to state that I do know Lamont Clemens. He has an upstanding businessman in the community that's been around for a long time. Very well respected with a lot of integrity. I also know Mr. Kelly. I'm familiar with what he does as far as he gave up his dream or goal at one point to actually serve fighting in the political field in order to pursue his passion on helping young adults get into college and further their careers. So he's very upstanding individual. I don't know if you guys remember, he did run maybe a few years back. They've met with the neighborhood councils, and all the neighborhood councils are really ecstatic to bring this business into the community, it being Black owned. Everyone I know that when I went to the meetings, they're excited about it, and we're looking forward to them bringing more economic growth into my area. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Ramos, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor Brown. First of all, I just want to congratulate Mr. Clemens and Mr. Kelly for seeing this process through. It's not an easy process. I've seen many people of color attempt to get into the cannabis industry, and there's so many barriers in the way. There are so many obstacles, and it has become truly become a very difficult process for people of color to navigate. And so I commend both of you gentlemen for sticking with it and for following through. This is the type of applicant that this law was meant for, right? The legislature worked very hard in defining social equity applicants and putting certain language in place to help minority applicants get into the industry. Despite those attempts, Mr. President, and to my colleagues, over 80% of the licensees in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are non-minority. And so, we could do better. The Commonwealth in overall can do better in supporting and offering more support for social equity applicants to make sure that there is an equitable distribution of licenses across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that we're giving Black and Brown people an opportunity to build wealth, particularly in Black and Brown communities. And so congratulations to both of you for seeing it through. I do have just a few questions, because you are the first ones to come before us for a special permit. The first ones from the second round, I believe, to come before us for a special permit. So it seems like we're moving along. So what does your timeline look like right now? If this petition for a special permit is approved, what does your timeline look like moving forward?
Well, I guess I'll speak to that myself, just being in the construction realm. So fortunately, we are in position where, as long as the special permit is approved, then we can continue on with our Cannabis Control Commission process. I will say that in the past, historically, when it first started up, the Cannabis Control Commission was taking a little bit longer to move through with some of the paperwork, but now they've really closed some gaps in their efficiency. So that will really allow us to really move forward as seamlessly as we can. We have put a Gantt chart or timeline, I would say, kind of together as to how we want to complete our process, and we were really hoping to move forward with continuing build out pretty quickly, and looking to realistically be open by the beginning of the second quarter of next year. So it will be still a little bit more time. However, that's what our timeline would be looking like. So hopefully, if this is approved and there's any individuals that have any interest in this now legal man, I don't even know, how should I say this, now legal product, feel free to come and support Primus right here on State Street, right in your neighborhood, in the neighborhood most of us really grew up around.
Thank you for that. And just one final question, Mr. President, if I could. I'm a big fan of Erica's Hall of Fame kitchen. Sorry if I missed it, but what is going to happen with that restaurant?
Unfortunately, and we've gotten, this was probably the biggest question, I mean, the most asked question. Unfortunately, my sister India has since moved on and bought a couple of trucks, and she has a transportation logistics business, and is doing quite well. So unfortunately, she's not going to be staying in the food or the hospitality arena that we know of. She's as you know, she was very passionate about it. She may call an audible and adjust. She's not on the call. I can't get her complete feedback, but as of right now, she's going to be remaining in the transportation business, and not only that, also be taking a really prevalent role in our construction company, Acelo Contractors. We're now MBE suppliers to construction companies and other organizations.
That's heartbreaking to hear. I'm not gonna lie, I'm heartbroken. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos, and I think I'll speak to my colleagues that the fried fish will be missed. Councilor Walsh.
Did you just call my name?
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Just wanted to make sure. Well, good evening, and it's certainly a pleasure and refreshing to have before us two known qualities and people whose qualities that we know, and I wish you all a success. But following what Councilor Ramos said, what about, does this mean the Cozy Corner is gone and is something else going to be taking the place for the for events in the neighborhood?
I will say so. As you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know my father, and throughout his years since having an establishment, entertainment establishment called Margot's back in the 70s town on Worthington Street, all the way until now, he's not been known to not have some type of venue. And we did recently acquire a building that could potentially fit that suit. So stay tuned. Again, that one's not my decision. That's my father's baby. So he will be the one that decides what direction we'll go with that. And hopefully, we love to be able to host events for the community because we want our community to be heard, and we love to have a venue where people that don't normally frequent with this side of town or what have you, it brings them there, which is a beautiful thing. And obviously it was something that's been an absolute delight, and hopefully we're able to recreate something really similar. So stay tuned. Again, it's going to be Mr. Boynton's call.
As you know, the Waterfront Club has been gone, but I'm happy to see that there was a beautiful park dedicated to the memory of Sam Bolden, who did so much in the community, not only for events, but supporting teams and kids and everything else. But I am curious about some of the obstacles that you ran into getting as far as you have gotten in this process. What really was the hardest for you?
I would say realistically, I think folks probably, just to be candid, would know I'm more of a drinker than a smoker. So I would think learning the industry and really deep diving into into an industry that I wasn't really familiar with, and ultimately the only
Mr. Clemens, you were having some audio.
Yeah, is it just me, or I don't think I can hear him.
Yeah, I think getting the information, as well as just being able to put together, really a strong team of consultants and individuals that were working with us. Isaac's been great. Ezra, we were just really blessed to work with a great team and really win through that. So I would say the biggest hurdle would be more so would have been the knowledge gap that's in there. And then, in all honesty, we've been blessed to get a ton of support, really from a lot of folks, and, rooting us on. Because as you guys know, we didn't win in the first round, but we stayed the course and said, hey, you know what? We didn't win in that first round, but because we, because we got, there was a simple hiccup or hurdle there, that doesn't mean that we're going to stop. That means we're going to continue going. And I think a testament to that is us getting first place in that next round on it. And I'm just happy that, honestly, the committee, the community, business leaders, and a lot of people, I think, have had some conversations that I think have been positive in our direction. So and I'm just ecstatic that we're here. So I would say those are definitely the main hurdles.
No, thanks. Good luck.
The only thing I would like to add on top of that is, and Lamont is being very modest, it just took a lot of resources at the same time as well. A lot has been invested into this process, especially I got on in the last probably about 9 months, and it takes a lot, especially when you have no guarantees. It's been a pretty high bar, not just from a CCC standpoint, but even in terms of putting together an RFP, for the city. And it's something that a lot of minorities just don't have the ability to raise that type of capital and take that risk because there is no guarantees that you would even get to the point that we're at now. So, my hats are off. I don't know if I would be here over a project like this if it wasn't for someone like Lamont and his family who believed in this so wholeheartedly and had the ability to put their money where their belief and heart was. So I'll say that for me, being involved, that was probably the biggest hurdle.
Oh, thank you for that. Appreciate you sharing.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Letterman, followed by Councilor Davila.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And let me start by saying it's certainly great to see not one, but two neighbors from here in McKnight on the meeting tonight and really pushing what will be a neighborhood-centric business. I think that's very key. I think it's very unique in terms of what we've seen in this process thus far. And so congratulations, gentlemen, on your success in the RFP. And I certainly also appreciate your work with the abutting neighborhood councils. And I know that you presented before them a number of times, and I think that comes through clearly in recommendations we've heard from them. The only question I heard, just in what I wanted to hope we could address before the final vote in the next round is, in the conditions, is there yet set operating hours for the establishment? And have you given consideration to what the operating hours might be?
Yep. Currently, our operating hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We do look at trends. So, as you can see, some of the other dispensaries have modified some of their hours to go, a little bit later. We're comfortable where we're at this point, realistically. So we really don't. We feel like it's comfortable for what we want to really accomplish.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilor. Councilor Davila.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mr. President. Lamont, Kelly, congratulations on going through this RFP. As it was stated before, it's a very tedious and long process, and my hat goes off to you guys for doing this. Very exciting. I just have some quick questions for you. On the excitement, I might have lost it, but just like Councilor Letterman just asked, I know the hours is 8 A to 8 P. Is that Monday to Sunday?
Yes.
No, we Monday to Sunday, because I don't see here on the, unless I'm missing it. Okay. And one thing that I did not notice was lighting for the location. Are you going to enhance lighting at that location, or are you going to keep the same lighting?
Yes, sorry, I can answer that one. The site plan does show new lighting throughout the parking area, mostly along the perimeter of the building. Or a perimeter of the site, and then there will also be there'll be lights on the building itself, lighting around the perimeter of the building.
Beautiful, beautiful. Attorney Kelly and Lamont, thank you for a very good, thorough presentation. You pretty much answered all my questions before I asked them. So congratulations, sir. I will be happy and voting in favor of this. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. I am seeing in the chat here that our former colleague, Mr. Rook, would like to speak in favor. He was having some trouble with audio. So at this time, Mr. Rook, if you could just state your name and address for the record, I'll give you the floor. You are muted. Still muted, Mr. Rook. I'll give you a chance. I'll pass it to Councilor Hurst for now. Councilor Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. President, and certainly want to thank Lamont as well as Mr. Kelly for coming before us. I think oftentimes there's always a lot of bureaucracy in terms of how not just this process, but a lot of the other special permits end up having to move forward. Marijuana certainly takes on a life of its own. And I think one of the issues, with sort of that bureaucratic process as it relates to marijuana is that a lot of folks get shut out, and primarily folks of color. And so I'm excited that you sort of are, bringing forward a new sort of process in which we approve these special permits. I think ordinarily we've approved the host community agreements, or we've let the mayor present us with the host community agreement or present you with the host community agreement. And then we would have the special permit process afterwards. I didn't quite think that, the process worked the first time around, but I didn't think it was that necessary. And so I'm happy that you're here before us today with your special permit requests prior to your host community agreement being fully executed. Certainly, I didn't read anywhere in the rules where that was absolutely necessary. And so you're certainly setting the trend, and I certainly appreciate that. Also wanted to add, it's not an easy process. I know that. I also know there are a lot of other applicants that are waiting. And so, one of the things that I wanted to ask the solicitor, and I certainly plan on supporting this project just because I know how difficult it is to even get here. But I do know there's an audit out there. And so while I don't plan on holding anything up this evening, I'd imagine that after this applicant, there will be more applicants that come before us. And I do know that Young No sent me an email saying that, that the audit was done and it was waiting for the law department's. It was waiting on a meeting with the law department to address any of the questions or to address any of their questions and to obtain their response to the findings and recommendations. And so prior, I think, to this body taking final step on anything, it just would make sense that that we get the results of that audit. And so to the solicitor, I don't know if you have had an opportunity to take a look at it, if you're planning on responding in the near future, but it certainly would be helpful for me as we go about approving these special permits, not only this one, but future ones that come before us. If you could respond to Young No so that we can get the results of the audit before we take final steps on any special permit that comes before us. Thank you, Mr. President and Lamont and Mr. Kelly. I wish you well, and I'm glad that you all were number one. You certainly deserved it, and your application, you probably should have been included in the process the last time and didn't make the cut. But I'm happy to see that you're here before us today.
Thank you. First, Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say congratulations on making it this far. I'm very proud of the work that this team put together. I reviewed the application in the first round, thought it should have scored higher even then, but I wasn't there to put in my 2 cents because of my work obligations. And it just got better the second round. And I'm just very pleased with all the hard work and even improving what was already done very, very well. You definitely deserve to be number one in the application process. While I think the audit is important, I think that in round 1 and 2, you've done everything right. Your zoning was right. Everything was done right with your application. And therefore, I don't think that there should be a holdup with moving forward with approving your special permit, because I don't think that because the process, based on what I think is flawed, you did anything to deserve to put a halt to moving forward. So I am going to vote in favor of you tonight. And when you come back at the next hearing meetings, I plan on voting in favor of you moving forward because you did what you were supposed to do in both rounds. And I don't think that there should be any hold up to you moving forward and starting your CCC process and your build out because of other factors that really has nothing to do with your application overall. And so good luck, congratulations. I love what you've done throughout the time I've known you, Lamont and Rob. Rob, you coached my son. So I definitely appreciate both of you. And I do have one question though, as far as the give back to the community, can you speak a little bit to what that looks like?
So obviously, anyone who knows me knows I've been extremely involved with the youth. So I think it's only right that the community organizations that we look to support would be ones that would be involved with youth. So I've spoken to the South End Community Center Director, who's on board with us giving contributions. And I've also spoken to Sam Bolden's nephew, who runs an organization called Live Bold, who runs different leagues within the summer. That's also a nonprofit here in Springfield. And so those will be two organizations that we'll be looking to contribute and basically make sure we positively impact and continue what I've been doing for years, which is making sure that our youth have positive activities to do and keeping them invested here within the city.
Thank you. Councilor Whitfield, Councilor
Very
Hurst.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And just to comment on Councilor Whitfield's point, I agree with her wholeheartedly. I do not anticipate holding this up at all. I certainly am not going to hold it up tonight. I think the bigger point is that I want that audit. And so that audit was that response was given to me from Young No on 10/14. So there's already been 11 days for the solicitor to respond to that audit. And so there's no excuse between now and our next meeting on the 14th that we shouldn't have the results of that audit prior to voting on this. And so that's really just a plug to the solicitor. I want it. And if anything is held up, it's going to be as a result of the solicitor.
Thank you, Councilor.
I'm happy to speak to it if you want.
Attorney Picola, if you'd like to.
Yeah. You know, there's nothing delaying anyone from going forward here. Typically, audits are done after a process is completed. This one is being done in the middle, but so be it. I've met with our internal auditor. I need to review this not only with me, but because I wasn't involved in the evaluation process, I want to speak to some of the people who were involved that are directly involved with some of the material in the audit. So, for example, I lost my main source of contact here, and that was Tashina Davis, who had been our resident expert. I miss her. We're currently in the process of working with grooming a new expert, and that is attorney Talia G, who has volunteered to help out. We're short-handed in the law department, and her help is greatly appreciated. She's a quick learner. She's been like a sponge. She's picked it up. I know she's had a lot of back and forth with attorney Fleischer, and my understanding is that is very close to just being completed. The notion is somehow there's some sort of delay is false. We are moving forward as fast as we can. I can be happy to send you tomorrow an outline of all of the agreements that have already been approved. I should tell you that most of them already have been. There's only a couple left to get finalized. And the biggest delay is one of the applicant. We just haven't heard back from them. And that was something that I don't know why we're not hearing back. Maybe they have pulled out. Maybe we need to go back and reassess what we looked at. But I will be happy to talk with you. You can call me anytime, Councilor Hurst, and we can go over each one of them until you are satisfied that we have conducted a process that's thorough and fair and open and competitive and the best one in the state. And you will not find a better process anywhere in this Commonwealth.
Just as a quick rebuttal, and then I won't say another word, Mr. President. I just want the audit. All of the extra stuff sounds great. I don't need to see anything else. I want to see one thing, and that's the audit. And I probably will be the only one that will either be abstaining or voting no if I don't get the audit. And that will be a direct result of you not getting us the audit and the information I think is absolutely critical before we vote on anything. So has nothing against you, Lamont or Rob. I want to make sure everything is transparent and above board and not unrelated to your special permit. This is bigger than your special permit.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you. I wasn't done last time, but I couldn't unmute fast enough. So and it moved on. So I just wanted, I had like a couple more questions, but one is for Phil, because I wanted to know what can and cannot be on the signs. I thought that we weren't able to put cannabis or marijuana or anything like that on the sign, but I'm not sure if my understanding was correct.
Mr. Drummond.
I'm not 100% sure on that either. I believe you can say cannabis because obviously INSA's got it on their sign. I was kind of under the same impression, but I don't believe that's the case. You know, when the signs were being permitted by the building department, I asked that question as well, but they were also under the impression that what they were doing. I don't think you can have marijuana leaves or pot, but I think cannabis isn't allowed. But again, that's really the state control over signage.
Okay, Ed, is that something you can look into on the signage? Because I don't know the difference between saying cannabis or putting a big old marijuana leaf. Right. You know.
So that's a really good question. It is complicated, but what it does is it points out the fact that we are moving from this phase of the RFP or RFQ process into an implementation. And on that, the health department has just hired a compliance officer. We are meeting in the next week. That compliance officer has experience not only in the field, in the industry, but with the CCC. So I can assure you that all of the locations will be inspected on a regular basis to assure compliance with all the special permit conditions, with the HCA, and with all of the state regulations. So we're putting that process together. I think we're going to have a team. We've been working well with, in addition to losing Tashina, we lost Attorney Theocles, and we have been working with a new person from procurement. She has been wonderful. She has been very hardworking. Her and Attorney G have worked well together, but that will be part of compliance as well.
Okay, thank you. And my final comment is also related to the audit. I don't know that we're the best in the state because I don't know what that is being referred to. I don't really know a bunch of the other state processes. I know that there's some things that I didn't like that took place with the process, and I'm just going to be 100% honest with that, just like I was when I was interviewed in the audit review. So I understand where Councilor Hurst is coming from. We do need the results. However, again, I'm not going to hold up this applicant, and I will say that again, this one, because they had a perfect or nearly perfect application, very professional, did everything professionally. And I don't think it would be fair to them, but I do think that getting the audit results is very important moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield, Councilor Davila, and hopefully we can dispose of the item.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not intend to beat up a dead horse per se, but I gotta say, I'm still not fully clear why we haven't seen the result of the audit. If it's been 11 days, what's the holdup? But I'm not gonna beat that horse right now, although I do also have an expectation of seeing an audit. Gave me the impression, and Solicitor, correct me if I'm mistaken, that you have to review some stuff. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct. Thank you, Solicitor. Okay, I am not, okay. I don't want to get off to tangent here too much with this because I don't want to hold up this permit either. But Solicitor, my question to you is, in your opinion, is there any kind of issue, legal precedence if we approve today's without seeing any kind of audit results? Is there any potential conflict in the future where other permits might get jammed up?
No, today is not your day to approve. There's a two-step process
Well, it's a two-step process,
with all
right.
of your special
Right.
permit hearings.
Okay, so here's my question.
I would
Go ahead.
I would expect that my, if you will call it management response that I am preparing, will be completed well before your next hearing.
Okay, all right, thank you, Solicitor. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Hurst, you're all set?
I just wanted to read it, and well before the next hearing, I think more importantly, the next general meeting is a little bit better. I just wanted to read the email. It's very short from Young No. I wanted to provide you with an update on the review of the city's cannabis company selection process. We have completed fieldwork activities and provided a draft of our findings and recommendations to the law department for their review. I plan on meeting with the law department to address any of their questions and obtain their responses to the findings and recommendations. I don't know if Young can't produce the audit prior to them, to the law department or obtaining the responses of the law department. I certainly will ask them, and I'll follow up with the council and potentially hold a meeting. So not to beat a dead horse, but that is exactly what he said for the record.
All right, thank you, Councilor Hurst. Are there any other questions at this time for the petitioner from members of the council? Seeing none at this time, I will entertain a motion to.
Mr. President. Mr. President, if you have no objections, I would love to hear former Councilor Rook. I believe you have mentioned you were going to give him opportunity to speak.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Davila, for remembering that. Councilor Rook, I will hand it over to you at this time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry for my video trouble. It's probably unusual that a fellow cannabis dispensary operator would speak in favor of another applicant, but I can't think of a better family to speak on behalf of. I have known Lou Boynton probably for 40 years, and he is, I would say, a family member. And I've known his wife for many years. I've known Lamont for 20 years. I can't think of a better representative to have been awarded in the second round, and in a highly competitive, regulated business. I think that they are in great hands with Attorney Isaac and also Ezra, I believe, is the consultant, who are very good. And I can tell them that this is the easy part. The next part is very difficult with the Cannabis Control Commission, but I extend a welcoming hand, and anything I can do to help or make suggestions along the way, please give me a call. And this is what Springfield is really all about. You know, I was at a dinner earlier and I told the gentleman I was with that I had to leave to speak in favor of a petitioner. And he said, "Isn't he a competitor?" And I said, "No, we're not really competitors. There's plenty of room for everybody. We're both just cheering each other on for success. And that's why I'm here tonight." I would like to say for the record, I hope that they have the second busiest dispensary in the city of Springfield. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rick, for joining us this evening, as always. At this time, I will entertain a motion to continue the item.
I
Motion
make
to
a motion. Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Edwards, seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to continue the special permit?
On the motion to continue, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Abstain.
Abstain, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams?
Yes, the special permit has been continued. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The next item on the agenda is item number 9, which is to amend the existing special permit granted in 1994, allowing a change to the petitioner at the property known as 867 Boston Road.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anyone present to speak to this? Please state your name and address for the record. Mr. Moran, you're muted, I believe.
Hello?
Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Eric Moran, 676 Fuller Street in Ludlow.
You have the floor. Thank you.
I don't really, this is my first time doing this thing, but I am leasing a automotive shop on Boston Road. I'm a master mechanic. I've been doing it for 20 years. And it's the old Brake King, Auto King area. I changed the name. I've been cleaning, painting, just pretty much everything other than working on cars so far. So I'm hoping that I can move forward. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I didn't change the building at all. I didn't remove anything. I didn't add anything. The zoning's the same. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Moran, for your testimony. Madam Clerk, at this time, I will ask, have we received any testimony of those in favor of the special permit
We have not.
and in opposition?
No, we have not.
All right. At this time, I will turn it over to the council body for any questions to the petition. And I will ask, are there any questions at this time to the petitioner? Councilor Ramos.
Mr. President, Phil, has the petitioner met with the neighborhood council?
I don't know.
Mr. Moran?
Yep. What? Yeah.
Have you met with the neighborhood council is the question?
I have not. No, I haven't.
I can send that information in the morning. I think I did in my original email, but I don't know. It's usually part of my original email is the note to contact the neighborhood councils. I mean, just so the council is aware, this is an existing automotive place, but as with all special permits, we do recommend that the neighborhood council is notified or touch base with.
So the request here is just to change the name of the.
Yeah, I mean, under the current special permit, as most special permits, it's issued to the petitioner only. So this is just an amendment to allow a new petitioner for the same business.
Okay. I mean, Mr. President, I would recommend that the petitioner meet with the neighborhood council between now and the next meeting when we actually vote on the special permit. That would be my request.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Phil, what are the, it says here that under the conditions that the 19, item number 3 on the recommended conditions, all conditions placed on the February 1994 special permit shall remain in effect. What are those conditions?
Well, I'm pretty sure I included a copy of the original special permit in my analysis. I'd have to read those, but it is.
Oh, yes, I see them here. I'm sorry. Yes, I just, it should be no other work. Okay, very well. Now, to the petitioner, if I may, when you say that it's going to remain the same, you mean you are not going to change anything? You're still going to have, everything's going to be the same?
I'm not only just painting and just pretty much just cleaning up. That's all I did. The shop is the same, the interior is the same. I just cleaned and painted and
how many bays do you have there, sir?
there is 8 bays.
8. And when did you acquire the property?
What's that?
When did you acquire the property?
I got it in August.
You purchased it? You leased it?
I'm leasing it, yeah.
You leased it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any other questions for the petitioner at this time? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to also continue this special permit.
So
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the motion to continue, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams.
Yes, the special permit has been continued. Madam Clerk, the next item, please.
The final item on the agenda is a zone change to change the zoning of a property known as 797 Berkshire Avenue.
All right, and councilors, this has been certainly been in front of us before. So Madam Clerk, at this time, we'll ask if there was any additional remaining testimony in favor or opposition of this zone change.
No,
Counselor,
neither.
I don't mean to interject, but this has been continued a number of times, so we actually haven't had the hearing yet. This was scheduled to go before the city council, I think, last month, but the petitioner, as I indicated the previous time, there's been some input from the abutters. This property does directly abut a wetland. So the owner of the property has hired an engineer to come up with a plan to kind of address some of the issues that were raised by the abutters. Unfortunately, the engineer he has hired has just not been able to complete the plan. So I did receive an email because the planning board technically has not voted on this either, as it was scheduled to be heard again by the planning board back in early September. But again, because of the issues raised by the abutters, the owner has hired an engineer and is working on that, and wanted to have that plan ready to go prior to the vote. So I would just ask that the council continue this again until the November hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Phil, for that context. There's a motion made by Councilor Hurst, seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll to continue this item?
On the motion to continue, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams.
Yes, the zone change has been continued. Madam Clerk, is there any further business before the council this evening?
No, there is not.
All right, thank you, councilors and guests. I just want to remind councilors that tomorrow we have a special meeting. I would really appreciate your attendance if you can make that. Without further ado, have a good and blessed evening, and we will connect tomorrow. Thank you all.
Good night.